We got paid yesterday. We went 5 for 5 in this flex play, which means a 10x payout. So flex plays, they're not exactly parlays, right? They're more like a round robin. So if you go 5 for 5, you 10x your money, turning 125 into 1250, which we did right here. So some close calls, but hey, we got the job done. So a lot of people will look at my, plays on PrizePicks and they're like, wow, you're playing 5 pick flexes. Like you need a lot of plays to win. But what people don't realize is we've gone through the math, and 5 pick and 6 pick flexes are mathematically optimal, right? In a 5 flex, you're getting roughly minus 119 odds when you convert the payouts on PrizePicks to those on the sports books, right? So what's a little confusing about PrizePicks is you go to this platform, is there's no odds, right? You go to DraftKings, and then we go to NBA, and we look at, player points, and you can see here there's odds, there's numbers. On PrizePicks, there's none of that. Essentially, any 2-pick entry you create on PrizePicks, you're always getting the same payout, right? So what you have to do is you have to take those payouts and convert them back into sportsbook odds. And what's mathematically optimal, again, is the 5-pick flex. And the odds are a lot better for these 5 flexes. So like a lot better. Like if we actually go here, you can see on PrizePicks for a 5 or a 6-pick flex, again, you're getting minus 118.6-ish odds. So we just are conservative. We bring it to minus 119. In a 2-pick power play, which is most popular on PrizePicks, so it's under the main PrizePicks column, you can see you're getting minus 137 juice. So that's a big difference, right? That 18 cents. When we talk about making money on PrizePicks, and I've kind of gone through my stats on PrizePicks before from 2022 and 2023, right? The ROI I'm getting is like 10%. So if I were instead placing 2-pick power plays at minus 137 odds, as opposed to minus 119 for these 5 flexes, like my record or my ROI would plummet, right? My ROI would actually probably be negative, which is pretty crazy, but true. So anyways, let's start getting into some of the picks I have. So we'll start out in the NBA player rebounds. In the first pick I'm on, so of course it's going to reload on me right as I go back. And then we can skip over NHL shot on goal because I don't have any plays from the screen. Although I do find a lot of value in NHL shot on goals. But the first play I have is right here. Kelly Oubre over 6 rebounds on PrizePicks. So take a look at the sports books. Underdog Fantasy, they all have his line at 6.5. You can see lines are kind of moving around. So Resorts World actually just took the odds more in favor of the over. So they moved the over 6.5 from plus 100 to minus 105. But what you're going to notice is PrizePicks has their line at 6, right? All of the books and Underdog have the line at 6.5. So PrizePicks is half of a rebound below the market. If Kelly Oubre has exactly 6 rebounds, right, we're going to push on PrizePicks. We're going to tie. So our 5-pick entry is going to become a 4-pick entry, right? If you tie, a 5-pick entry just becomes a 4-pick entry. Whereas anyone who took Oubre's over on a sports book or Underdog, you're losing, right? You're losing if he has exactly 6 rebounds and you take over 6.5. So as a sharp bettor, really the way I use this screen is I'm scanning mainly for discrepancies between PrizePicks and Underdog because these platforms are direct competitors. So typically when there's a line discrepancy between them, because they're platforms, neither of them have odds, they work in basically the exact same way. So typically when there's line discrepancies between PrizePicks and Underdog, that's a pretty good indication there's a profitable bet. So you can see here, PrizePicks at 6, all the sportsbooks at 6.5. So the value's on the over, right? PrizePicks is too low relative to every other data point, every other price data point, telling us the line should be set at 6.5. So it's, one sportsbook with the line at 6, and then you have dozens of data points, sophisticated bookmakers who have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines, telling you, this line should be set at 6.5. So that's the first play I locked in. Oubre over 6. So the screen is cool, but it's also a bit harder to use and it's a bit more manual, right? So with the screen, we're looking for, where are books setting the lines at different levels, right? So we're looking for where is Oubre, 6 on PrizePicks, but then it's 6.5 on all the books. So what the EV tool does is different, right? The EV tool, essentially it just scans the market. So it literally goes to PrizePicks, right? It reads in all of these odds. So all of these lines, it takes them all in, puts a minus 119 to them, and then it reads in all these lines from DraftKings. So it's updating, millions and millions of odds every second. And it just literally points out where the value is for you in the market, given that PrizePicks is giving you minus 119 odds on any play in a 5 or 6 flex, right? So this is what's very interesting about PrizePicks, is you go to a sports book and you can see here, Dame over 34.5 is minus 115 odds, right? Thibault, you take his over, you're getting plus 100. You take his under, you're getting minus 130. So there's different prices or odds, right? Odds are the same as prices. So there's different odds on the over and the under, right? Now on PrizePicks, it doesn't matter. Again, right? You take the overs, you take the unders, your payout doesn't change, right? So the price is always minus 119. So as a sharp bettor, we're looking for value at minus 119. So you can see the first play I'm on is Michael Matheson, under 2.5 shots on goal, right? Pretty simple. All of the sports books have his under heavily favored. You have Pinnacle, which is the sharpest sports book in the world. Their pricing is under 2.5 shots on goal at minus 163. We're getting 44 cents of improvement from the sharpest bookmaker in the world. That's a pretty good indication you got a good bet down, right? So when I'm using this tool, I'm literally just following the data. Some plays are more profitable than others, right? This play is more profitable than this one on Brandon Hagel. But again, we need 5 picks. So the way it kind of works on PrizePicks is, you can assume if we have a 5-pick flex, here the profit margin is 1.59%, kind of goes down to 0.18%. If you assume the average profit margin per leg is 1%, we have 5 legs in our flex, then our PrizePicks ROI, if the average edge of each play is roughly 1%, will be about 5%. So we'll expect a long-term ROI on 5 flexes of about 1%. So you can see on PrizePicks, my ROI over a pretty big sample size for 2022 and 2023, it's about 10%. So what that means is kind of like the average edge that I'm playing is roughly 2% on my PrizePicks entries, right? My average edge is about 2%. 5 picks and a 5 flex, 2 times 5 is 10, right? So ended up going with a bunch of plays from the EV tool. So you can see Brent Burns, Kyrie Irving, DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Hagel. Here's a play on Bovada. So I say this all the time, this video is about PrizePicks. So I'm filtering, the odds to just kind of show more favorite outcomes around minus 119. But there's value on other books too, right? Bovada, all these books set lines independently. So as a sharp bettor, more books you have, more profitable betting opportunities, more money in your pocket, right? So you want to get as many books as possible. So you're going to see all these plays kind of in my entry. Again, all I'm showing you, is things that I'm putting my own personal money on when I go through my PrizePicks flexes. So here you can see a bunch more, right? So here's Marcus Smart, right? It doesn't matter what sport, it doesn't matter anything like that. All books are pricing is over as a heavy favorite around, minus 140-ish. We're getting minus 119. Clear value in a flex play, right? So just following the data, here are the plays I ended up going with, and hopefully you guys are able to tail. I say this all the time, but I don't control. This play I gave out last night on Twitter, but if you want to take a look, that was not from this morning. From this morning, we have David Perron, under 2.5 shots on goal, Vince Dunn, over 1.5, DeMar DeRozan, over 22.5 points, Smart, over 1.5 threes, Brent Burns, over 2.5 shots on goal. So you saw basically all these plays just on the EV tool. I don't do anything complicated with my sports betting. A lot of people ask questions like, oh, what other considerations do you have? It's like literally I just put max odds, typically plus 190. I select the sports books I use, and then I just follow the data and I deal with variance, right? I know on PrizePicks I'm going to have some upswings, I'm going to have some brutal downswings, but I know I have an edge over the book because I understand the math, and I know I'm going to beat them long term. So here's my second play. Kelly Oubre over 6 rebounds, that play we went through from the screen. Then a bunch of the same plays, Kyrie over 24.5, Michael Matheson under 2.5 shots on goal. So again, following the data, all sportsbooks have the under heavily juiced. Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, pricing this at minus 163. When you're getting 44 cents of improvement from the sharpest sportsbook, it's a pretty good indication you're on a good bet, right? A bet with an edge. So we're just looking for plays with an edge, right? I don't know. Here's another play. I don't know the future, Like Miko, I don't know. Maybe he gets hurt in the first period. He has 0 shots on goal. I look like an idiot, right? There's variance in sports. Nobody knows the future. It's all about having an edge at the time of placing your bet, right? So here's my next play if you want to take a look. So if you have an edge at the time of placing your bet, you're guaranteed to make money long term due to the law of large numbers. So kind of like an example I like to give out for thinking about positive EV betting is you can see Bitcoin is trading at 22.4K in the market. So if I asked you, hey, do you want to buy Bitcoin at $19,000? And you say no, you shouldn't be betting on sports. You're a horrible gambler, right? Like the logic is very simple. You have every smart trading firm, hedge fund, every smart person with a model in the world figuring out the price of Bitcoin, billions of people looking at this. In the equilibrium point where it's trading fairly in the market and supply and demand are offset is 22.4K, right? So unless you think you're smarter than every trading firm, every hedge fund, every smart person in the world with a model, and you should be buying Bitcoin if you could at this exact moment at 19K. You would have an insane edge. You could literally go sell it in the market for 3K higher if you wanted to. For a similar reason, unless you think you're smarter than everyone in the world, if you could sell all your Bitcoin for 27K, you should absolutely be doing that. It's trading at 22.4K in the market, right? Which is set again by supply and demand so all available public information and all beliefs of all smart people is encompassed in this price. So it's the same thing for positive EV betting, right? Unless you think you're smarter than every other sports bettor, who is the reason the lines are set this way, right? If Matheson over 2.5 shots on goal should actually be favored, every smart person, every sharp bettor, every syndicate, every sports betting hedge fund would have hammered it at plus 121 until the over was at minus 163, right? So unless you think you're smarter than every sports book, billion-dollar company, Caesars MGM, they've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines, right? So unless you think you're smarter than every sports book, every sports bettor, follow the market, pick off inefficiencies, right? Matheson under 2.5 at minus 119 is clear value considering every bookmaker is pricing this around minus 140. So again, here's the next play I went with, and then here's the final play. So again, like you may be like, hey, you reused a lot of the same picks. What are you doing, man? I'm just kind of reducing variance, right? So I'm taking Kyrie here. I'm switching him out with DeMar DeRozan. So basically, if we go 4 for 5, let's say Kyrie loses, still have the opportunity to win here with DeMar DeRozan. If a play is profitable in one entry, then it's profitable in another entry. You don't really have to overcomplicate it. Like Kyrie was a profitable play. It was positive EV. We saw it on the positive EV tool. This Matheson play has a 1.59% edge. It's profitable. So it's profitable in this entry. It's also profitable in this entry. And it's also profitable in this entry. Right? So hopefully this video was helpful. A bunch of player props on PrizePicks. Let's have a day.